everyone, namaskaram, welcome back to ChaatNChat. Na peru Josh.
Na peru Miguel.
Mari ee roju manam Rangasthalam chostunamu. We are watching Rangasthalam. This is part 3, so if you missed part 1 or part 2, then you can go check both of those out by clicking the playlist link that I put conveniently in the description of this video. And as a reminder, this is our members weekly pick. So if you voted, thank you so much. And if you didn't vote and you want to vote next week, let us know what we should watch next, then please do so by clicking our Patreon link that is below this video, where you can find all sorts of membership tiers like early access, watch-alongs, all that sort of stuff. And then you can join us back here, finish it up. And if you are interested in our review, thoughts, opinions, ratings, that sort of stuff, then please join us after the reaction where we discuss. And also let us know what you think in the comments below. And if you haven't yet, please consider subscribing, sharing, a like button nu slap cheyandi.
President garu, మీ డబ్బు ఇందులో ఎంత ఉందో కూడా మనకు తెలియదండి. ఆయన లెక్క తేడా రాదులేండి.
He thinks just returning it is going to make it all right. It's not going to...
ఆయన ఈ డబ్బు తీసుకుంటే వార్డ్ నెంబర్లో నామినేషన్ ఎలా తీసేసుకుంటారు?
Yeah, he's... Dude, you do not get this.
The damage is already done.
Damage is done, and he used him, or his minions used him in a way.
ఒకవేళ అదే నిజమైతే మీ శక్తులకు ఒక మాట చెప్పండి. మరి బాబుకి సిట్టు బాబు అనే ఒక తమ్ముడు ఉన్నాడు. ఆడిని ముట్టుకోవాలంటే ఈ సిట్టు బాబు గారి గుండెగా దాటెళ్ళాలని చెప్పండి.
Good. There's a threat.
ఏయ్, ప్రెసిడెంట్ గారికి నేను చెప్పింది మొత్తం వినిపించిందిరా. కొట్టండి.
He's not going to watch it because he didn't hear you. Oh.
Okay.
రామ్ లక్ష్మణప్పుడే పెళ్లి కూతురు చేస్తున్నావా? ఎంత కలకల్లాడతా సరే రామలక్ష్మి, ఈ పెళ్లి కూతురు బట్టల్లో ఎంత సాకగున్నావే. ఎందుకో తెలిసే, నువ్వంటే నాకు ఇష్టమేనే, కానీ నీకన్నా ఎక్కువ మా అన్నయ్య గారంటే ఇష్టం.
That is tough to make him choose.
Yeah.
నాకు మా అన్నయ్య మీద ఉన్నంత ప్రేమ నీకు నా మీద ఉన్నప్పుడు ఆ రోజు చెప్పే నేనే వచ్చి నీ సై పట్టుకుని పెళ్లి చేసేసుకుంటా.
So basically he's like, I wouldn't leave my brother for you, but I want you to leave your father for me?
Yeah.
Okay, just so we're on the same page.
ఈసారి నీ బాబు నిజంగా నేను తెగొస్తాడు.
Go ahead. Here's a bigger bottle. Make sure you do it right.
ఊరు మొత్తం కుమారుడు అయిపోయింది. మిమ్మల్ని పేరెట్టి పిలిచి రోజు వచ్చేసిందండి. నా సలహా ఏంటంటే ఓడిపోవడం కంటే తప్పుకోవడమే మంచిదేమో.
You know what kind of guy you work for? He's not gonna listen to that crap. Oh, he's gone.
You got to be careful about beating your minions because they have a way, and if he survives or and others find out,
He did it in broad daylight in front of everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone knows.
ఆ సొంత తండ్రే చెవిట్లా కొడుక ఇంటించి బయటికి పోరా అన్నాడు.
యాదవేస లేకుండా వచ్చి తిను.
మా ఆకలి ఎప్పుడో చచ్చిపోయింది, మీ భోజనం మాకొద్దు. నా క్యారేజీ వచ్చేసింది. రామలక్ష్మి, నాకు కాబోయే పెళ్ళం నీకన్నా బాగా వంటలు చేస్తుంది. జిగ్జారంట ఇంకేమిటి గుత్తొంకాయ మొత్తం
So dramatic. Such a drama queen.
Yeah.
ఆకలి నక్కలాడుతుంది. ఇటు ఒడి.
Yeah, they're all going to take it.
నా కొంచెం కూరేవా?
సర్లే కదా పర్లేదు. మరి నాకు
They're not going to leave any for him. Smart. Yeah, take it all. So he has nothing.
మనకు లాంతర్ గుర్తు వచ్చిందండి. ఇక రంగస్థలం అంతా జిల్ జిగాలనండి.
అరే నువ్వు తినేసి వచ్చారా?
He married now, dude. Are you just running away? Should you be dancing with this gal having just secured your fiancé? Or is this the bachelor party?
ఏ ఊరు అనేది? ఊరు కొత్త మొహలా ఉంది. ఇలా ఎక్కడికి వెళ్తాం ఏంటి? మరి పెదపాడండి. బుచ్చినాడు రేపు పనులు చెరుక్కోవడానికి వచ్చాం. మా ఊరికి
I don't think so. I think something else.
Poison?
Poison on the fields or...
ఇదిగోరా అన్ని సోది ముక్కలతో సోది అనవని ఏంట్రదే ఏంట్రది ఆల్సం
They got the list of everyone that was supporting him, right? Like, what if
Maybe
they do
they're
hits on everybody that's voting for him?
ఉచ్చిరాడు గారి తోటలో చెరుకు కొట్టడానికి వచ్చారా
అవునండి సగం నరికాను మిగతా సగం నరకాలే
రమేష్ వాళ్ళకి నేను ఎవరో తెలుసు
ఎలా గురుగారు
వాళ్ళు నాతో గట్టిగా మాట్లాడుతున్నారు
Oh, it is the hit squad.
అనే ఇక్కడ
ఇవాళ శనివారం కదండి ఉదయం కళ్ళని టోన్కి వెళ్ళి ఉంటారండి
ఇల్లడా ఎల్లదా
అయ్యి బాబు శనివారం అంటే ఖచ్చితంగా టోన్కి వెళ్తారు కదండి
Oh, and it always happens in the fields.
ఎవరు
Oh, dude, you need to speed faster.
Yeah. Oh, they put something in there to... Take your white shirt off, dude.
Well, you should have taken your brother's worry a little more seriously.
Mm-hmm. And because he can't hear anything, he can't tell where they're at.
Yeah. Oh no. Oh.
His arrogance got him.
Once he gets to a doctor soon, it still might be too late.
And he needs to pick up one of those knives and start taking those guys out.
Oh, wow. Yeah, well, he's certainly not afraid to take him out.
Basically let him know, I'm ready to kill you guys. Just the same way as you were gonna...
Kill him, yeah.
కాదు పసుపు తీసుకుంటా అది తీసుకొచ్చి రాస్తాను అనుకో మొత్తం తగ్గిపోతాయంటే సారీరా
Dude, this whole hearing...
సార్తో ఉండాలి రా ఉండు వద్దురా అరే మర్చిపోయి నీకు కలద్దాలరా తీరు కనిపిదు నాకు వినిపిదు ఏంటో
That would have been very different.
Because the one back there...
Oh, yeah, you're caught in between. Put pressure on it.
Yeah, no,
I don't think turmeric's gonna work.
No. What is he saying? He can't.
Like, we're in the middle of nowhere. Who are you gonna call?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah, speak loud and clear. I'm sorry, dude. That's not his issue to resolve to you. Ugh.
Oh, no. Why not just go straight to, like, I mean, maybe not a hospital, but like straight home or something to bandage up the wounds? Like, why would they even stop at the cafe place? Oh, yeah. He is not one to let something go. Like the snake,
Yeah.
he's still hunting the snake that bit him.
Yeah.
Like, this is much bigger.
Oh, they're all looking like
What?
they're coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't care if he goes to prison or
Oh,
something. Even she's
oh
like,
man,
yeah.
this is it. We don't need no frickin' gate. You think that's gonna stop us?
Nah, no one's taking their shoes off now.
Yeah. I don't think he's home. Yeah, he vacated a long time ago. Raped this whole village and all these people and basically has said, I'm out of here.
But he's such a sore loser that he still wanted to take him out.
Yeah.
Dude, that old president dude better be hiding somewhere very
Yeah.
out of nowhere. He's not gonna let him survive this.
ఆడేదో చెప్పాలనుకున్నాడంట నాకు ఏం పడలేదు.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's the worst part too, is that there's no justice, really.
ఇంత బాధ్యత పెట్టేసావంటారు నా మీద.
మాయా అన్నయ్య కోరుకుంది కూడా ఇదే, ఊరు బాగుపడాలని. నలుగురికి సాయం చేసేదానివి నువ్వైతేనే కరెక్ట్. పెట్టేత్తా.
So, has to be a very somber sort of
Yeah.
celebration. I mean, good that the village is in better hands, but I mean, how can anyone?
So catastrophic and just soul crushing. Who is this? What?
No, he's reading the lips.
Yes, but what is it?
హలో దక్షిణమూర్తి గారు ఉన్నారా?
మీరెవరు?
నేను రంగస్థల సిట్టి బాబుని, ఆయనతో వెంటనే మాట్లాడాలి.
ఆయన లేరయ్యా, గెస్ట్ హౌస్కి వెళ్ళారు.
So he was trying to save him.
Oh, that's what.
Okay, so we've seen the two different befores. Two
2 years in a coma? Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Wow, talk about devotion.
Mm-hmm.
Was his eyes open before? I don't think so.
దక్షిణమూర్తి గారు, నేనండి డాక్టర్ సీతారాంని. నన్ను గుర్తుపట్టారా మీరు?
I wouldn't have called the family unless he.
ఏమండి ఇందుని ఏమండి ఏమండి
Still don't know how good he's gonna be.
And especially after that much time, you'd have to rebuild so much muscle.
Well, muscle, but then also, it was a brain injury, so you have no idea how much brain damage there is until they're at least at a point of where you can start running the test to see, did he lose memory? Did he lose speech?
అంతా నీ వల్లనే. నీ నమ్మకం ఆయన బతికించింది. ఆయన ప్రాణం కోసం నిజంగానే యుద్ధం చేసావయ్యా. ఇంకెంత? 2 నెలల్లో లేచి తిరిగేస్తాడు.
Yeah, they all pretty much gave up on him, so.
ఆయన పైన చిట్టి బాబు అర్థమైన వాళ్ళందరినీ లోపలికి పంపిస్తున్నావు.
నమస్కారం.
చిట్టి బాబు ఎలా ఉన్నావు?
Hey, for something like that, you should have the special treatment.
ఏం లేదయ్యా, మీతో కొంచెం మాట్లాడాలి.
నా ప్రాణమే నీదే, అనుమతి ఎందుకు? పర్వాలేదు, చెప్పు.
అయ్యా,
మీరు కొంచెం బయట ఉండండి. అవును, మీ ఊరు ఎలా ఉంది?
బాగుందయ్యా. మా అన్నయ్య కోరుకున్నట్టే ఊరు చాలా బాగుందయ్యా.
మీ అన్నయ్యకి జరిగింది చాలా దారుణమయ్యా. ఇంతకీ ఆ ప్రెసిడెంట్ దొరికాడా?
అని ఎలాగైనా చంపేద్దామని అన్ని చోట్ల ఎతికామయ్యా కానీ ఆడు దొరకలేదయ్యా అప్పుడు అందులో వేయించాం ఆవిడ చెప్పిన గుర్తులు పెట్టుకుని ఆయన
Charan,
చంపడానికి
you're all over the place, man. Sent you in all different directions. Fox is safeguarding him.
But he had a hearing aid and you can, oh, I guess it's not perfect.
And again, he seems to put it on when it's convenient and when
No,
it's
it was in his ear. Sleeps with a freaking knife under his pillow. Not living like the big boss anymore, huh?
No.
Well, you can't be dead yet. Well, that was a little too quick, I think. I don't know. I'm a little more
yeah, you
like vengeful, I guess.
Yes.
But that's a little too quick for what he did.
ఎంతమంది అమాయకుల్ని చంపేసినోని చంపేయడం న్యాయమే కదయ్యా
న్యాయమే చంపాల్సిందే
కానీ మీరు మా అన్నయ్యని చంపడం మాత్రం న్యాయం కాదయ్యా
Why would he?
ఏం మాట్లాడుతున్నావు మీ అన్నయ్య నేను చంపడం ఏంటి
వాళ్ళు ఎవరో ఆడుతూ పాడుతూ పాడిన పాట మా అన్నయ్య ప్యానల్ పోతూ పోతూ చెప్పిన మాట
Oh, so we thought it was a warning, but apparently it's like who his killer was.
అదృష్టశాత్తు మా ఊర్లో శ్రీమన్నారాయణ అనేవాడు ఎవడు లేడయ్యా కానీ ఆ పేరు ఎక్కడో విన్నానయ్యా ఆ మాట మీ నోటి నుంచే విన్నానయ్యా
Oh, his man.
వాడు చనిపోయే ముందు మొత్తం చెప్పేశాడు మా అన్నయ్య ప్రేమించింది మీ చిన్న కూతుర్ని అంట కదా
Oh, this took a turn.
What? Twist? But he was becoming like a big man.
చంపకుండా ఊరుకుంటారా తక్కువ నా కొడకల్లరా నా ఇంటి గడప తొక్కడానికి కూడా అర్హత లేనివాడు
Another one of those, like, status.
వినబడుతుందా చౌటు నా కొడక నేను చెప్పానని తెలుసు కదా ఎందుకు ఆపడారా నన్ను
Maybe he attached his little device to the speaker outside.
సాబత్కులో ఉన్న మిమ్మల్ని వెంటనే ఆసుపత్రికి తీసుకెళ్ళా మీ గడ్డం గీకేటప్పుడు నా చెయ్యి మీ గొంతు దగ్గర ఇలా పొడికేది సార్
Whoa!
మిమ్మల్ని అప్పుడే చంపించి సారు కానీ ఎందుకు బతికించుకున్నాను తెలుసా మా అన్నయ్య చెప్పాడు సారు ఊరి శిక్ష పడే ఖైదీకి కూడా చిన్న జ్వరం వచ్చినా ఊరి తీరంట సారు ఎంత ఆశతో ఉన్నారు పైగా ఇప్పుడు మినిస్టర్ కూడా అయిపోదాం అనుకుంటున్నారు ఇప్పుడు చంపడమే న్యాయం కదా సారు హీడుకుతున్నాడా వీడి తమ్ముడు చెల్లిపోయిన సిట్టి బాబు మిమ్మల్ని చంపు బాగా అర్థమైంది మీకు అర్థమైంది
Oof. Whoa.
Wow. The greatest of revenge.
I mean, everyone knows you're the last one to see him alive, so that would be a little problematic. And no one would really suspect him maybe of doing it because he took care of him for 2 years.
Yeah.
No one would understand, like, why would this guy take care of somebody and then kill him? It's like, let's go before the screaming starts.
Wow.
Big twist right at the end.
Very
like,
big twist at the
I
end.
never saw that coming.
Definitely. Wow. But that makes a whole lot of sense if you think about it, because all of the henchmen were not known, were from out of town, were outside the village.
True, but we just assumed that maybe the president had the reach to hire outside because anyone on the inside would have leaked maybe.
Perhaps.
So it could be right.
Yeah.
Maybe that guy was actually supposed to assassinate him on stage and Chitti Babu did save him on
there.
stage. And then once they realized that he was caught, he's like, oh, we have to have a cover story. No, this is my man. But then in reality, that just kind of dug his hole already.
Yep. Dug his grave, as they say. Okay, well, First of all, for me, this was a rather difficult movie to watch because the whole deafness thing bothered me, how he continued to be unwilling to wear the equipment so that he could hear properly, and how everybody, he's telling people speak louder and do it. And it's like, it's not their job to do that. And I speak from someone who has a family member who is deaf. And for the longest time, they always were doing that. And the family just finally said, you either wear your equipment or we won't talk to you.
Yeah. I mean, that's what
which-
it comes down to,
exactly.
right? I mean,
And
I'm
the
not
thing-
going to yell for
I'm
the
not
rest.
going to yell so that you can hear, and I'm not going to repeat myself multiple times so that you can hear me.
That's so frustrating.
It is very, very frustrating, and it's hard to have a conversation. And don't get in the car, roll down the windows so that the wind and the street noise is all coming in, and then try and have a conversation with me. I'm like going, forget it. That's not worth my time, not worth my effort.
Yeah.
Okay? And, I'm not going to run after you in a store looking like a fool. Hey,
Yeah.
because you can't hear me.
So really, then this isn't just because what I thought you were going to be saying is that he was over the top and no one would do that, but you had experience that someone was exactly like
Exactly
that.
like
so
that.
it's actually more realistic that
Yes.
someone is because
Yes.
they don't want to look.
They don't want to feel less than. They don't,
Yeah.
all of this other sort of stuff. And even
And then
with
put everyone else
and they make
out.
everyone else accommodate them. And it's like, sorry, the world doesn't happen like this way. And it's like they're asking for all sorts of extra effort, and it's like it's okay to help each other and help bring people up to an equitable place. That's why there's equipment, that's
Yeah.
why there's tools, that's why there's all these other things. Okay, but refusing to wear it, refusing to use it, and putting it in a drawer and letting it, rust away is not the way to go. And it can really, really strain relationships. And, there's nothing worse than having a conversation with someone who is in that situation and they're hearing and you're like, no, that's not what they said. No, and this is the worst thing, is when they make you play hearing aid dog. Okay,
Yeah,
and it's
what
like
he was doing
like with
quite
his friends and
times, yeah.
other people. It's like, what are they saying? Tell me.
No,
remember
yeah,
it for
it's
later on.
frustrating. It
It's
is.
very, very frustrating.
So-
So for me, it really was a difficult movie to watch because I would not, any of his friends, I would have said, dude, get your equipment and then we'll talk. Otherwise,
But
bye.
it was a very important plot point because
was.
he needed to understand that there are reasons, and then especially if he could hear, maybe you could have heard him coming up, because you're more aware of like your surroundings,
Yes.
so you can hear someone coming up. Because I did have a really bad feeling once he turned his back and then
Yep.
the camera
Yep.
went off
I
with
was
his
like,
brother.
yep.
I was like kind of like feeling
I
it. I'm
was
like, oh,
going,
dude,
yeah,
don't leave him by
don't
himself.
leave him by himself, roadside stop, and yeah, it was just like,
And then sure enough, he turns around and the dude's like, oh.
Yeah. So anyhow, I mean, there's a reason for, and again, it dovetailed into the story. So at
Yeah.
a certain point, I'm like, okay, it's going to be, this is going to come back. And, the fact that, he finally figured out what the words were that his dying brother's words were. It's like, and that's just got to be intensely guiltful on him. He's trying to talk to him and his brother's dying, and it's like, dude, I don't have the strength to yell at you,
Yeah.
and
it promoted him to wear
you start
hearing
using
aid,
it
yeah.
way more and
That's
everything,
good.
and I'm like, okay, well, someone got to die in order for you to man up, so to speak, hear up.
Yeah.
So, but because of that, he did a really good job of the acting around it. So I think that's really good. And there are elements that I thought, I'm like, oh, I've seen this all before, where it's like, oh yeah, like they actually can hear you and everything. With the gentleman who then went to go and jump in the river. Yes, he did detect that. Yeah, he saw tears in his eyes, and that's, they say your senses become a little more attuned to other. And yeah, at the end of it, way down, he has a big, huge heart. And that's true. I'm not saying anything about his huge heart. It's just his other things that are getting in the way.
Okay, anything else than that? I mean, like, it's frustrating when someone is like that for sure.
Yeah.
But.
So, but I like how he sometimes would play it off in unusual ways, particularly when he was trying to date her. So there were some very comical elements to that I thought was kind of funny. You know, I really feel for the village, so the storyline of the village and how it was just being, it was being raped and pillaged by this guy.
It was a
and
pretty good
the
story,
goons.
for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, it was interesting.
You know, and then again, it shows you how the corruption goes just beyond one person. I mean, there's not one person that's doing all of this. It's the Dr. Evil with his minions and his tentacles in all sorts of places.
So what would you rate it?
I'm going to give this a 7.
Okay.
I'm going to give it a 7.
Yeah, I really liked Ram Charan's acting. I thought he did a really good job with his expressions. His eyes are just like his facial expressions are some of the most expressive of an actor that we've seen in any of these movies so far. I mean, he is just like, I don't know what it is about his eyes. They're just so captivating. And just his whole look in general, like how he can just do a look and then it's just like, oh yeah, wow. And everything about, I can't put my finger on it. I was like staring at him like this whole movie and trying to like figure out what makes him
past the hair.
Yeah, past the hair. And I'm just like trying to stare at him. I'm like, what is it about this guy? Like, how is his expressions and stuff like that good? And you know, I still don't know. I don't have an answer, but it was very fun to watch. And yes, I got frustrated a lot, like with you, with his like hearing thing. I'm like, come on, by now you should understand, you know, especially when it almost cost him the girl.
Yeah.
Right. And then so that is what I thought, okay, maybe would get him to start wearing it, especially when she accepted that he was like deaf.
And he like walks away from her.
Yeah, and but even when she accepted it and when other people find out, it's not like that they necessarily judge him. And then even putting it in his ear, like some random people show up to the village and say, hey, do you know where this person lives? He puts it in his ear. It's not like they said something like, oh, you're deaf, like get away from me. No, it was just like, oh, thanks for putting that in your ear and listening to what I have to say.
Exactly.
I mean, people, I don't know. And I guess it's just like, with my grandpa, my dadu in India, right? He refuses, when he hurt his ankle, he refused to use like a walking stick or a cane or anything like that or a crutch. He's like, no, it just looks bad. People will think that I'm old. I'm like, okay, well you're injured, but also you kind of you're old.
You're
like
old.
You're older. Like you're an older dude.
At a certain
you know?
point, it
like,
shows.
Yeah, you are. So it's like it's whatever. And he's like, no, it doesn't look good. And I'm just like, dude, like, and he is like suffering for not to look like that. And I'm just like, dude, just use the cane, man. And but he's so against it. So I'm just like, dude, I don't know. And I like, you know, get a very stylish looking cane.
Yeah, you can,
like,
definitely.
Just accessorize.
Well, hey, when I fell in India, I used a cane.
Yeah, you did use a cane.
I'm like going, not going to make myself suffer here.
Yeah, and I've been pointing to that. I'm like, Dadu, look, he's using a cane, and like you won't use a cane. But anyway, so that part was frustrating. But looking past that, because this movie had a lot more to that,
Right.
I think the story was pretty good, but it's very hard for me to believe that the entire village for 30 years would suffer under this guy's ruling. Now they just seem super oblivious, and that's why, like, I think at one point I related them to like just sheep following, and I'm just like, what the heck? It's so clear. This guy looks. You people are nothing to him. Like you are so beneath him in his eyes that he just does not care about you, doesn't care about any, and I'm just like, guys, but no one is seeing it, and it's clear that he's behind because the goon that's going around and stealing everybody's land works for him. He's his right-hand man.
Yeah.
I'm just like, this is so silly, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I couldn't get over that. So I just wish maybe there was a better way to explain why the people didn't rise up and revolt. Like maybe they were just afraid, and then maybe that plot point could have came in a little earlier where it wasn't like, oh, it was suicide. Maybe they knew it wasn't suicide and that the people were killed, and so they're like, no, we don't speak his name. He's a tyrant. Even if he hears you say his name, you're gonna be killed.
Right.
You know, so if it was something like that, I would get more on board with. But then the story where it was just like, oh no, we're just like living in Wonderland, and it's like, no, you're not. Your lives, they're not better. And so,
but sometimes you're right. People can become sheep a little bit, and a lot of it becomes somewhat of shared thinking and behavior, and it's like, well, we've been like this 30 years. They may not even remember what it was like before. And at a certain point, it's like, well, people get fearful of change, and they're like going, well, we know what we got with this one, and we just
but
kind
it's
of
so bad.
But it's so bad.
It's bad.
But if they don't know
also,
anything more,
yeah, and also his brother being like he definitely
the
was more
outsider.
well, he was definitely more educated. He went to Dubai
Yep.
and he had this job or something that he was doing, and he looked like his life was actually on a pretty good track.
Right.
And then he came back. How do you not take something seriously where your brother comes to you and tells you, hey, look, all these people have been dying and dropping like flies anytime that they stand up to this guy?
Yeah.
Like, they say it's suicide, but then his brother just gets so mad at him and just like, get away from like, you're causing a scene. And it's like, dude, your brother has proper fears. You're taking on a dude that has had sole power in this place for 30 years, and you think he's just going to give up without a fight?
Yeah.
I mean, using dirty tactics and stuff?
yeah, you would have thought that he would have been a little more cognizant, or at least
And
at
trust
least
his
concerned.
brother's
Yeah.
instincts and stuff, and especially when he hears
Well,
them.
and also at the same time, it's sometimes that whole bit of, city slicker, goes out to the...
Yeah, but you'd almost be like a little wiser, right? Because in the cities more so, where people are, one-upping each other and taking
True,
advantage of people.
true.
Like,
But it's on a different level. People might not be killing each other. And
there's lots of murders
yeah,
in
so
cities.
you just kind of... So yeah, that was a little bit of a plot point that it was like, how believable.
Yeah.
But
the acting was really good. So I really enjoyed the acting like all around. I really liked that. So for me, the story was a little lacking, but the acting was very phenomenal, and I liked that. The music numbers were really fun and very catchy, and just like it actually made me want to get up and dance. And I was like listening to it, and I'm like,
you stopped my bouncing leg a couple of times.
yeah, and I'm just like, this is a lot of fun, and it's just there were very good dance numbers and that sort of stuff. Also, I have to do a really awesome shout out to the cinematographer here with the lighting and all that sort of stuff, because there are some very artistic uses of lighting, not just like, oh well, let's get this scene properly lit. It wasn't about that. There was a lot of symbolism and whatnot with the lighting, and there was a whole dance number that was like in chiaroscuro lighting like palette, and I was just like, wow, this is so good. And I'm just like very dramatic.
The opening setting shot was just so cinematic and it was engaging, because you're like going, he's obviously pedaling somewhere pretty quick. Why? And so it really started pulling you into what's going on, what's going to happen, and then something serious happens, and you're like, whoa. That's a way to start a movie off. And then there was so much happening that I forgot about what happened in the beginning until they did a callback, and I'm like, oh yeah, wait a second, there's a whole nother thing going on. And then it flashed back again, and then this. And so it was like, I gotta say, this was kind of the first time that I've seen kind of a multi-flashback like that. It kind of...
Oh no, we've seen
it. But it was done in an unusual way, and it just kind of was very different. And it was funny. I remember, who's her warden? I asked who's her warden, and we never saw who it was. And I kind of thought a little bit like, I wonder if that's some bad dude that's higher up in this food chain or something. And come to find out, it was. So that was nuts.
We've actually seen him before, and I think all the roles that we've seen him before, this actor that was
Which one was he
being the minister, he was a bad guy. So when I see him, I'm just like, and I'm like, wow, a movie where he's actually a good guy, and then plot twist. Oh no, never mind. He's actually
back to his usual character.
pretty bad dude. So yeah, because I don't think we've ever seen a movie where he wasn't the bad guy. So here, like when I saw him, I'm like, wait, this guy's normally a bad guy, and sure enough, like true to what we've seen before, is like, yeah, but still I didn't expect the twist, even though I'm like, yeah, he's usually a bad guy, but here he's like super nice and stuff,
Wolf
like what a great guy.
Clothing.
So anyway, I did enjoy I'm gonna give it a 7 like you, but yeah, so I think that the story for me was just a little lacking, but the acting was really great and the dancing was great, all that was great. It just like, I just wish the story was maybe a little bit more, that they made the villagers not seem so like just willing to follow along blindly and stuff. And maybe villages are like that, and maybe because I don't know anything about that sort of living style and stuff like that. So, and this was in the 80s, and that sort of stuff. So maybe that has something to do with it. But for me personally, while watching it, I didn't really feel convinced that it was a plot point that they could go on for 30 years. And, you know, because after the first like 5 years, 10 years or something like that, before it got to 30, it'd be like you should question. And people did question, but then they mysteriously turn up dead. I mean, come on. After 30 years of that, like you can kind of like...
When the town crazy guy, as a lot of people say, oh, he's the town crazy guy, is out there telling you, hey, you're gonna look out, you signed the petition.
It's like, yeah, you know, like this is what happens to people that do this. And it doesn't take a town crier to understand that if you stand up to this dude, you're going to die.
Yeah.
So I just, I don't know. Like I didn't really get that. So anyway, that's just my feeling. But you guys let us know in the comments, what did you think? What would you rate it? And, you know, was this kind of believable? Did you like the story point? Because, I mean, I don't know. I was like really trying. It was still interesting. It was entertaining, and I did like it. So thank you so much for the recommendation. And remember, if you didn't vote this last week and you want to vote next week, then be sure to do so by clicking our Patreon link right up here. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing, sharing, a like button, slap giant.